Welcome back to another episode of Size Previews. As always, I'm Luke Matthews, joined by Chris Spins. Sit back, relax, and let's get into it. We did a project with a third party last year, and it was Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. For us, it was massive. So we're going to continue this narrative of working with a film project with Adidas. And you saw this in the previews event, but this is now the final sample and the first time you'll see it, and it's the Campus Fight Club.
All over the shoe, there's little bits and pieces that you kind of pick up on a bit.
What's your favourite detail
Do you know
in the
what?
shoe?
I think it's the Sigburn highlights because it's something you might not notice initially. And even just down to the footbeds, like referencing clothing throughout the film. And then this from the kind of scene where he's got the fur jacket on and that.
Now there's that many details. We're not going to tell them all because I think it's nice for you guys to explore it and actually find them. But one thing we did say all along was we've got a really special box.
We work with these things every day and we go through these details every day. So I think it really completes the story.
And then we obviously get iced outsole on there as well. You get the colours together. Other things about the shoe, obviously we've done it on a campus this time. Last time we worked on Superstar. For us, whenever we do these projects, we want them to be as timeless as possible. So we use silhouettes that, one, are really easy to work with in terms of the paneling, and we can do various storytelling in terms of the different shapes. But also, you could look at this shoe in 10 years' time and it'd still be just as relevant. So that's one of the massive criteria for us when we're actually working on projects like this. The Nike Free Trail, and I will say this shoe was ahead of its time last time, because for me at the minute, and the aesthetic that everyone's wearing at the minute, there's that trail undercurrent coming through. It's so on the money right now.
Yeah. This kind of outdoor thing that's been a bit of a result of what the pandemic is making it so people can only go out, so people got more into this kind of outdoor gear. I think it fits into that whole piece really well. Not only that, the shoe's great, whether you want to hike up a mountain or hike down to your local spa.
I think we were saying earlier, it's quite funny seeing, like, do you remember that whole black-white hype that was going on? And literally anything black-white.
The one from 2012 was actual triple black. Which I prefer personally.
But this is what everyone wanted.
Like, but at the time, that's what they wanted then.
Everyone was coming in store saying, we want a black-white version. So everyone that turned down on that shop in 2012, we're on the money. So this next shoe, we're now celebrating its 50th year, which is incredible. Originally called the Robert Haye and now known as the Stan Smith.
I think what we wanted to do with this one is similar to, we did a lot of stuff in 2020. We want to reference our colours. I mean, it's a classic shoe, so we wanted to put that classic size colourway on there as well. I mean, traditionally Stan Smith is white, so we didn't want to put a dark layer or a black layer underneath it. We've just done the kind of hits on it, so the heel tab, and then on the tongue branding as well. And I think we just wanted to get a real kind of vintage look about it, a real vintage execution on it. And
well, it's actually colour matched directly from the ZX 5000. All the colours are literally taken from the same palette.
And I think what's important to highlight is that a lot of sustainable shoes, you can normally tell they're sustainable from the materials. I mean, the thing with Stan Smith, it is a classic leather shoe usually, do you mean? So you don't want to kind of lose that about it. And I think the team at Adidas have done an amazing job in making kind of this material look like that vintage leather material.
Genuinely, I feel if we'd not said anything and just put it out, I don't really think you'd know any different. We spent probably 4 samples actually getting this material as close as it would be. So not only does it look really good, but it also carries a really, really strong and powerful message as well. So we've had a lot of questions about this next pack. A lot of questions. So we thought we'd just show you. It's not coming next month, it's coming in a couple of months, but 550 and 574. Now these are the 2 final executions.
These are absolute worldies, aren't they? The worldies, aren't they? I mean, it took a lot of changes, a lot of samples to kind of get to this, but I mean, there was always just tweaks, like little bits that we weren't happy with. And
we'll say it like this: it started with that whole Ivy League collegiate. Imagine like you're back in Rydell High, and you get your sort of standard PE kit, and this is like the narrative of the school colours, is the size colours. And we wanted it to almost feel like so classic, like this comes straight out of the catalogue, but really dial up the materials, really dial up the details. It feels like it's just aged naturally over the decades as well. On 2 shoes that are so relevant this year. Obviously 550's been amazing since it's come through. 574 celebrating a massive piece this year as well. And the materials on these are nothing like you'll see on the inline versions, especially the mesh on this one we wanted to call out because that's a mesh you'd see on a lot of the made-in products, especially product like 1300, which is a made in US shoe. We've taken out this panel, which is traditionally contrasted in like a charcoal or something, And it makes the shoe just look completely different, I feel.
I mean, it's a classic shoe, and it's a classic New Balance shoe, and I would say that when you think of New Balance, that's the first shoe you think of.
So going to round this episode off with a future upcoming installment of the City Series, but this is a size exclusive installment of the City Series, and it's very, very, very special.
I think you might remember last year we talked about a shoe that was coming for the City Series that it is the best one, and this is it.
Napoli.
This is the one that we were talking about in that episode of the previews. I mean, when we seen this, we were blown away straight away, weren't we? When we seen that first sample, we were blown away.
Yeah.
This is the best one for me that we've seen so far. We've been waiting for this to come. Do you mean? I know a lot of people are waiting for it to come back as well, and it's like it's nearly here now. And I think, like I said, easily by far for me personally, I don't know if you might disagree, the best one so far.
Well, what I like the fact that when these reissues have been coming throughout the City Series, some collectors will already have certain versions because there's been reissues. There's not been many reissues of that.
No.
So that's what makes it even more special for us. The fact that it's going to be basically giving some people, some collectors, some people in the community the first time to add Napoli into their collections. It's massive.
For me, once you get the execution, once you see it, once you get it in your hand, once you pick it up, you'll see the detailing's ridiculous. The levers that you used on it, the suede's are spot on, the tooling's really good. Everything about the shoe is kind of come together in this perfect marriage, and we're really happy. One thing I will add.
Go on.
It's not the 7th shoe, before you even start asking us.
No, we're not talking about 7th shoe anymore. It's not 7th. In fact, it's not the 7th, it's the 13th, okay? And that's all we're going to say. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all the content we've got coming through. And in the meantime, there's the Size social channels. See you next month.